Yes. This is the Daily Dose. That's Robert Cochran. I'm Susan Scarlett, and this is Linda Cochran, as in auntie and nephew, related. And we're telling a family story.
We are, and this story of finding my grandfather's grave. I'm realizing as you're talking, Bob, that I always carried this sadness that I didn't have a grandfather, and now I do. He's always been there.
And I love when we color in the details. I love, now we've got Grandpa Edward and we've got Grandma Grace. And again, it colors it in for me too, because I really knew nothing about Grandpa Edward. Grace in my heart, and just the name alone kind of holds how I hold her. And now I've got this picture, which I so appreciate you doing. You're really lighting a path. Please continue.
Oh, good. Well, maybe Susan, you can tell the next part where Vince, who was the director of this Catholic cemetery, after I had communed with my grandfather, then he comes charging over the hill.
Flying back in. He's so excited and tells us that just, I think, 3 weeks before, another cemetery director had run across some old maps and had delivered them to him. So the Catholic diocese, I think, had 6 cemeteries that they took care of. And this other cemetery director realized he should take this to Calvary, which is where we were. And there was Edward Sweeney right there. There was his name, handwritten. This was a map from 1899. It had been copied and recopied, and it was huge and quite unclear. But then he had GPS coordinates trying to match everything up. And then he said, I know where he is. I know where he is. And we were just.
And we can get that marker. So it was like such a complete circle, and so much more, because there was another thing being completed with this man named Vincent, who was a Catholic, who I used to be Catholic and I left, but I took things, I still have things with Catholicism that I'm really grateful for and love. But this man represented to me, took me back in time to certain Catholics, especially men that I knew, who had such deep faith, and he was doing his passion. He said to me, he had tears in his eyes, you made my day. And I said, well, you made at least my year.
And when he got the call from Linda the previous week that she wanted to come and look for her grandfather, he was so moved. He took that story home and told his wife, there's this woman coming.
I want to circle back again here, because I think we're at a good place here to once again reiterate the power of storytelling. There's a story you had, and then the power of reaching out to share that story and what it meant to Vince. And whenever we're in a place where we can be our best selves, act in our highest good, do, as Vince is saying, what he feels he's on this earth to do, right? To be in service of others, right? That, we talk all about this certainly in the Jam for Joy and now in day one, but the gift giving. We give gifts sometimes with asking and opening vulnerably from our hearts of others, because even though we may feel like, gosh, this is a burden that I'm asking, that person is saying, no, you just gave my purpose a roadmap. You gave Vince an opportunity to be the Vince he wants to be by asking this of him.
It's so beautifully said, and that's what I'm feeling on really throughout this whole trip, the connectedness, how we're all connected, and how when we are vulnerable or truthful or kind or whatever, it just, magic happens. You see that you're a part of something greater instead of, woe is me, I'm depressed. The opposite.
It's interesting that it comes, what you just said, that community spirit, often in the face of, things that could be considered, negative emotions, things we're scared to do. There was I'm gonna send this out as a cliffhanger. I'll talk about it in the next episode. We're about at time. But there was a terrific, and by terrific, I should say really horrific accident in front of our house last week, a car accident. And it afforded some of the best of humanity to come out. So I'll leave it there and say, join us on the next Daily Dose.